everybody. We're so excited to have you for our first Q&A back from the new year. Hard to believe we're already at the end of January, but we're so excited to have all of you joining us and to talk about what the new year has to hold and some new adventures. We're going to be covering a lot in this session today, but before I jump into it, I would love to introduce my amazing panel here. Zach, I'll start with you. Can you tell us who you are and what you're doing here?
Thanks, Saundra. So, hi, my name is Zach Parchman. I've been with AMN for almost 10 years. I'm currently a director of recruitment, so I lead a team of recruiters, formerly a recruiter myself, and actually married to a nurse. So, live, breathe, and sleep nursing 24/7.
All over the place. You're just surrounded by it. You can't get away from it, which is awesome. And we're happy to have you here. Let's go to Caitlin. Would love to hear who you are.
I'd love to share. My name is Caitlin Connolly. I have been an account manager with AMN for the last 4 years, going on 5. And I work with our hospitals to help bring the talent and the amazing resources to them that they need. And I work with our recruitment partners and the likes of Zach to help make that a reality.
Thank you, Caitlin. We're so happy to have you and happy to hear a little bit from the client side today, which is something our listeners love to hear and see just that different perspective. So happy to have you, Caitlin. And last but not least, Teresa, I do know you, but tell me who you are and what you're doing here.
Hi, y'all. I'm Teresa Healy. I'm a senior recruitment manager. I've been with AMN for going on 13 years, and my position is being out there helping all of my nurses every day find the perfect jobs for them and guide them from the process of point A all the way to Z to make sure that the travel nursing experience is fluid and very easy and a great and fun experience.
We're so excited to have you as well, Teresa. So welcome again, everybody. So happy to have you all joining us for this first podcast of the year. A couple of things that I, of course, have to talk about is first, I cannot start any of these lives without thanking all of you for everything that you do day in and day out in that nursing world and really anything that you do within healthcare. So I know we have some nurses joining us, surge techs across the board, but thank you for all that you do to support patient care, make sure that all of us are getting the care that we need. Today, we're going to talk about a few things. So we're going to talk primarily about, gosh, I'm really excited about what does the future hold? What does travel look like for me? I just accepted, or I'm thinking about accepting my first assignment. Now what? So we'll talk a little bit about some expectations of things that you might want to be aware of before you say yes to your first assignment, or maybe it's an assignment that you are saying yes to. It's your 12th assignment with us or with anyone else. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Before I jump into the content, though, want to talk about our blog contest. So I know my team will throw the link in the chat here, but would love to hear from all of you and what's going on out there. What are your travel experiences like? What are the experiences that you've had maybe in your units or outside of your units? But we'll drop some more information in the chat here for you. There's probably prizes. I feel like there normally are, but check that link out. Let us know what you're doing. We love to hear from you. And then also, this is for you. There's a lot of topics that we're going to cover, but if there's something that you're looking to hear from us and you want to ask this incredible panel, you've really got all sides in this chat here. Throw those questions in the comment section and I will be sure to ask our panel. So throw those comments in. Let's get started and jump into some of the things we've talked about that we really wanted to highlight with our clinicians today. So Teresa, maybe I'll go to you first. I am a first-time traveler, and we have a lot that join us on our live events here. I'm a first-time traveler. I am just trying to kind of figure out what's going on, and I'm maybe going to accept my first assignment. What are some things that you make sure when you're having these conversations with your first-time travelers that they're aware of? And maybe as it pertains to saying yes to maybe their first offer or having multiple offers come in.
Yeah, perfect. So that's a really good question. I mean, it's such an exciting thing, and usually your recruiter is going to be having you out to multiple positions and telling you about a bunch of jobs. Meanwhile, you're seeing a bunch of jobs posting on the AMN passport. So I would say in the current market, the most important thing right now is when you get that offer, be ready to accept the first offer. And then with that being said, also make sure you know that like your recruiters are there to answer any questions that you have. Ask all the questions you have ahead of time. Go through those details with your recruiter. Be open and honest about your concerns because our job is to help everything go smoothly for you. And we want to be able to support you through that and make sure that you feel comfortable, accepting an assignment halfway across the country or wherever you're going to be going, whether even if it's, 40 minutes away. Um, but that you're 100% in and ready to accept and excited to accept with all the details that we're able to provide you with. But I think the number one thing within the current market is being ready to accept that offer when it comes in, but being also ready to ask any questions that you have so that, you're confident doing so.
Write those questions down, right? So as they come up, there's no question that your recruiter won't want to answer for you. We're in your corner and we want to make sure that you're aware. A couple things that you said, Teresa. One is hopefully you all have downloaded AMN Passport and are checking out the jobs that are available online so that while you're working at 2 a.m. and your recruiter, Teresa, is sleeping. She should be sleeping, but she has two little ones at home, so she might be awake. But hopefully while she is sleeping, you can search for jobs that are of interest to you. You can actually auto submit. Make sure that you check out AMN Passport. We'll come back to it again and talk about all of the things that you can do post-booking within it as well. The other thing that you said, Teresa, is in this current market, and maybe for context for all of our listeners here, you have been a recruiter for a while and you've been in different markets. So talk to us maybe a little bit about what that roller coaster or that journey looks like. We have clinicians that started working for us or working in travel during COVID, and it's a really different market. So anything you would highlight there?
Yeah, it is true. It is a completely different market than COVID. It's a little bit closer to what it was pre-COVID is in terms of the numbers of jobs we have. So I've been hearing from a lot of my nurses like, oh, there's nothing out there. That is not true. There are still so many great positions out there and a ton of great locations and good pay too. The difference really is that there's not as many openings per posting. So during COVID, we saw a lot of hospitals that were posting 10, 15 jobs. Now we have those same hospitals posting 2 to 3. So the positions are really competitive to get. They're out there, they're great, but they go fast. So that's why I say if you get a job at a place that you were excited for, you submitted to, the interview went well, or maybe you got an auto offer, which is also amazing. That's why it is important to be ready to accept because there are so many people that want that one position. So the market's just a little bit different. The jobs are there, they're still great, there's still great locations, great pay, but there's just not as many. Whereas in COVID, you could submit, it was like throwing spaghetti at a wall, you could submit and there were 10 jobs and you were sure to get it. That's not necessarily the case because it is a more competitive market with less positions per opening.
Perfect. Yeah. And I think that answers a little bit about what comment came in from Kiao. I hope I probably butchered that. I'm so sorry. But are there any emerging trends or changes in hiring practices that job seekers should be aware of? So Teresa, you talked about it a little bit with just the availability. There's not as many open positions. That doesn't mean that you're not as needed or that the facility doesn't want or need you. It's that it's a little bit more competitive. So talking through with your recruiter what positions are available, how you can really stand out, and making sure that when you are being submitted, it's someplace that you're ready to say yes, absolutely to. Caitlin, I saw you shaking your head in response to this. Anything from the client side that you're maybe noticing a little bit more when it comes to the hiring practices or things that maybe our clients are looking at?
Absolutely. I will follow up on what Teresa was saying, that I really do believe that it's just become a little bit more competitive. Whereas before, we didn't have to really worry as much about the timeline to get that acceptance for the offer. But now, considering how urgent some of these needs are and how many submissions that we get for them, we're really looking closely, and the client is looking really closely to have the best shot at having a clinician that is committed and can start on time and has all their questions basically answered beforehand. I will see some trends more recently that travelers really want to talk to the nurse manager. They want to do a full interview. We have a great auto offer process that is in place and meant to try and beat some of that competition to get you that offer before anybody else. And I would say that my best recommendation would be what we've already talked about a little bit here, is getting those questions to your recruiter off the very beginning. And when you want to maybe talk to a nurse manager, think about the questions that you would want to ask that nurse manager. Tell those questions to your recruiter, and I am more than happy to get those answers for you. Sometimes it's a question that I've just had asked, so I already know the answer, and I can get it to you faster than that nurse manager probably would be able to give you a personal call back. That's not to say that we don't want you to be able to speak to the people that you will be working with. It's more of in your best interest to make sure that you're able to secure that position for yourself if that is your first choice.
Yeah. So asking what those questions are. Teresa, I saw you shaking your head and wanting to jump in here too. What would you add to what Caitlin said?
I was just going to say a lot of those questions or concerns that you have, you can mention up front when we're looking for jobs. If you say to me, "Hey, I'm interested in going to a place, but I only want a place that has Epic computer charting or anything like that," we might also be able to see those and know that information ahead of time to filter those out so that you don't get an offer and then it's a Meditech place and you're totally not interested in going to. So it's good to ask those up front. And to Caitlin's point, the auto offer process is to help you, but it's also to help those managers who have these jobs posted because they need help on their unit, and it allows them to be able to just have those files reviewed and know that they're going to be getting someone offered without having to step off the unit to make those calls or play phone tag, trying to reach someone for an interview right away.
Right. Because they need you. They're overwhelmed, right? Already if they're posting an order. Zach, will you talk to us a little bit too? Because the other thing that we have, especially with a lot of our exclusive accounts, is dedicated clinical team members that are in-house that in addition to your recruiter asking the account manager to ask, we can almost in a lot of cases and in most cases completely eliminate that by asking the clinical manager that's assigned to that particular facility or hospital. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure, would love to. So, as Caitlin and Teresa were alluding to, a lot of facilities are auto offer. We know that nurse managers' time is valuable, so the likelihood of them being able to take a call for an interview all the time is a little rarer these days. It can happen, and we do help facilitate that, but we do try to push for those auto offers if at all possible. And what that means ultimately is you complete an online interview. We refer to it as like the voice advantage. And so by completing that based on your experience and your specialty and what you're familiar with, our clinical team will assess ultimately the best fit for you and see where your skill set aligns with what the qualifications are for any particular order. So they can kind of vet that in advance to help eliminate you being in a position that you're not going to succeed, right? We want to get you in a job that you'll flourish, you'll feel comfortable, and you'll enjoy and not put your license in jeopardy by any means or patient safety. So we take all of that into consideration. The clinical team here is awesome. They're available 24/7. So if you've got something that comes up and your recruiter isn't available to talk through that, we can get them looped in at any point to assist. And yeah, ultimately they're here for everyone's well-being and to make sure that you have the best assignment possible.
I love it. Thanks for adding that in, Zach. So what you've heard so far from the panel is things are moving quickly out there, which is very exciting. It can be a little bit overwhelming, but that's why in that initial conversation that you have with your recruiter, whether that be at AMN or any other company, it's important to ask all those questions up front so that you feel like you're really prepared and what are those next steps. When I say yes to this incredible offer that I've been waiting on, or maybe it's my first or second or third choice. I know, Teresa, you were going to talk a little bit about the kind of the choices and how do I rank those. But do I feel comfortable in making that move for myself? Have I talked to the people that I need to talk to in order to make this big change happen? And if I don't, what is that hesitancy that's coming up? And how do I maybe bring that up to my recruiter? Teresa, will you kind of jump in here about we oftentimes do submit our clinicians to multiple different locations, as you've heard from Caitlin, Teresa, and Zach, that it is competitive and we want to move quickly. But how do you work with your clinicians as you're kind of getting their profile out to all of these different locations and making sure that it's the best fit for them?
Yeah, I think, as a recruiter, my job is to make sure I'm finding out exactly why you're travel nursing, what you're looking for, what you want to get out of the assignment, and what's going on too in your life, whether you're traveling alone, traveling with a partner, traveling with a dog, what's going to impact what you're looking for. And with that, then we're able to maybe get you out to 4 or 5 different places, and say that offer comes in and it's everything you wanted pay-wise, it's the correct shift, it's the correct computer system, and it's a location that you're interested in. Let's talk about, are you ready to accept? I mean, most people are like, "Okay, yes, that's perfect. Let's go." But what other hesitancies do you have? What might come up that you have questions about? Bring those to your recruiter, because our job is to support you and help you troubleshoot through those. Once you accept that position verbally, that's when we let the facility know and say, hey, they've accepted. Your contract comes up usually on the AMN passport, hopefully within before 24 hours or right at that 24-hour mark. And that's really your indication that you've reviewed it and everything's correct and is going to match up with what you discussed with your recruiter. But it's from that point that you say yes, you're accepting, that we let the facility know and that they fill it. So that's why, as our job as recruiters, we want to make sure that you feel 100% confident that you're going to be accepting. And anything that comes up after that point, also to support you through that and see what can we do to support you through and make sure that this is a good experience.
Yeah, and a couple of great points there too, Teresa and Caitlin. I'd love to come to you because the first thing that you said is travel nursing moves quickly. When we say yes, we're accepting the position, that is first, it's a celebration for all of us, right? Because we found you the assignment that you needed. You're going on your maybe first or multiple travel assignment, but the facility really celebrates too. Caitlin, talk to us a little bit about what happens at that point, because now we've said, yes, we're accepting, we're going to this assignment. What happens on your end as you talk to the facility, aside from the happy dance?
Well, I will tell you that the happy dance does follow through all the way to the client side. The celebratory memes and emojis that get sent in some of these emails when we send that confirmation of contract over to the client can really be a big win. Sometimes when you're accepting a offer, you don't know how long they've been searching for someone exactly like you, and they are pumped. When we send that confirmation to the client, that is us telling them that we found you someone that's committed, that matches what you are looking for, and that's going to be there for you for what you're looking for. And that's really exciting. That means that somebody that has been on this search, that's been trying to help the staff that is in a unit that is in great need. Maybe people haven't been able to take time off in a couple of weeks because of a shortage that they have. I mean, the entire unit is going to celebrate your presence and your coming to help, not just the client and the leaders. But and to that point, when you accept, it's very much all of that excitement and like the help is coming. So if you do have any thoughts of, oh wait, I didn't think about this before I accepted my offer, is this going to change A, B, or C? We really want you to be able to feel confident and open with talking about that to your recruiter, because we have so many resources available to you, especially if it's your first time traveling. It can be a little bit of pressure, right? You're being counted on by a lot of people, and your yes triggers a lot of support that's coming to that unit. So we wouldn't want to take that away. But of course, things happen, and we want you to feel comfortable talking to your recruiter. Maybe you're looking at housing and it doesn't look like you expected it to look. Having those conversations with your recruiter up front to let them know what you're expecting out of this assignment is going to help to ensure that when you accept, you're accepting exactly what you wanted to accept and nothing else, so that everyone is happy with the deal that's been made and everyone can, get what they need out of this assignment.
Yeah, absolutely. And Teresa, I just saw you come off mute as well, so I'll have you jump in, and then Zach will come to you to talk about one of the points that Caitlin made, which was on support. So Teresa, jump in first.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, Caitlin's absolutely right. I mean, things like housing, if you have questions about that, things that might come up with family or travel, other little hiccups along the way. be transparent with your recruiter about those things. Talk to them about them, because our job is to help you along that path, but also to make sure that you're going to make it to help the hospital that's, waiting and eagerly waiting and excited for you to come. So all of those things, come to us for support on. If I can't help you, the clinical team can help you. If there's a scenario where we need to maybe reach out to our hospital partners and say, hey, there's a horrible snowstorm, ice all over the Midwest, and my nurse isn't going to be able to drive from Virginia to California. Can we bump the start date back 1 week? Those types of things, we can reach out to our partners at the hospital and ask for support on, unexpected things like that. And also, when your recruiters here at AMN are all very experienced, we've probably heard it before and have a solution or have an idea of how we can handle it and help you through to make sure it's still a successful start to your contract.
Yeah, such a good point, Teresa. We know that those things happen. Family emergencies happen. We know you're all people, and we know that things come up as they do for all of us, right? So we want to really be there to help you. You heard from Teresa that we're really in your corner as your recruiter, clinician, or candidate relationships go, but we're also in your corner as AMN as a whole. So some additional things that we can offer you. If you are running into some kind of, maybe housing problem, or just, mental health in general, or any type of family emergency, Zach, talk to us a little bit more about how we support our clinicians through some of those other things.
Yeah, love to. So these are actual resources that are available not only for internal AMN employees, but also external and travelers. So I think that's awesome. I myself have benefited from utilizing our employee assistance program. And there's countless amount of resources that are available and are at your guys' disposal as well as ours. So I highly encourage, if anything comes up, to look into utilizing it. It is a great resource and an awesome benefit that we provide here at AMN, in addition to our healthcare benefits, our travel packages, and your great recruitment team. So we really are full circle, which I love about AMN. I think that what we offer is second to none in comparison to some of the other agencies out there. I just feel like we've got a plethora of benefits and resources at any given time, 24-hour support, online resources. And we even have grant programs. If you're coming across a situation financially where you need some assistance, you can apply for grants that have been awarded. I think we've issued up to almost 300,000 last year for that grant program. So great opportunities to be utilized, and we keep coming up with more and more ideas as how we can give back to the community and help you as a traveler.
Yeah, such good point, Zach. And so many things that we offer, like you said, our internal team members, so all of us here, but we also view all of our clinicians as our team members as well. You're external facing, you're actually out there, but we want you to have the same benefits. Caitlin, I know you were going to add a little bit here. I saw you come off mute.
Yeah, I it's no secret that I love working here. I love AMN. I hope all of you listening will find that same joy. But the fact that AMN cares about all of our clinicians, all of our people out there on the ground, just like they do about me and about everyone that's on this call, we can't help the people that we want to help if ourselves are not in the best place. So the fact that we have resources to help all of us be the best person that we can be every day really makes me feel comfortable. I myself have had uh, unfortunate personal emergencies that have happened, things that you hope never happen to anyone that you love, and it can be very trying. But to know that I was able to beep up boop, call a number, say, "Hey, I need some help. Please find me somebody that can help me." I've never had a therapist before. I've never reached out to anybody, and they call me back and say, "Hey, we have someone for you. Your appointment is Tuesday at blank, and they're going to help you." And I didn't have to do anything else because already we're dealing with so much in our lives, right? To be treated like people and humans that have value is really something that's wonderful and unique about AMN. And I really love to share that. And the clients know about this too. So if you're talking to maybe someone on the unit and you're having a hard time, you reach out to your recruiter, you say, "Hey, I could use a chat with clinical, and I think I'm gonna, put a call out to the EAP. Everyone is, going to understand that, and it's going to help you in a way that, maybe you may not have realized before and
Mhm.
wouldn't have if you were working with another agency.
Yeah, so well said, Caitlin. And we know that mental health, burnout, all of those things are very real parts of your lives. And we want to be able to support you. Teresa, I saw you shaking your head as we were going through that and just kind of agreeing. You have worked with a lot of clinicians. And I wanted to say too, while this might be your first travel assignment, it's not your recruiter's first time having these conversations and helping you with the travel kind of travel journey. So keep that in mind too, as you have an expert that's in your field or in your kind of back pocket to help you with all these questions. But Teresa, anything that you would add to just that kind of mental health piece or the burnout element and how you help your clinicians through it?
Yeah, I think Caitlin's points about and Zach about the EAP or even just the clinical liaisons that we offer, the recruiters are also there to help support you emotionally. We're not nurses. We don't see what you see, but we have heard it. We've heard a lot of experiences from our nurses and even if you just need an ear, someone to talk it out with. Like that's what we're here for. But I agree with Caitlin that I think one of the best things, we hear it a lot of like, oh, AMN is the largest healthcare staffing company in the country. And it's like, yeah, that's right. And that's where you benefit. A big benefit is we have those resources for you. They're available to you, they're free. But then you also have that personalized touch of your recruiter who's there to be your partner, your friend, your support as well, to guide you into those. So um again, that just goes back to talk to us, let us know what's going on so we can help you. I've had people who have said, oh, I didn't even know that was an option, family emergency, housing emergencies. That grant that Zach was referring to is a support that we have where you can apply if you're having financial difficulties because of maybe a house flood or a house fire or something like that. We put things to that to be able to support our nurses in time or any of our clinicians in their time of need because we know how hard the job is that you're doing and stuff like that. We want that to be something that is less of a burden to you if we can help. Since we can't be there doing the nursing that you're doing, you wouldn't want me doing that.
Me neither.
Every nurse has a phobia. Mine would be Band-Aids. So clearly I'm not meant to be a nurse. But we can support you in all the other ways. And AMN has those resources. So reach out and that's what we want to be there for you.
Yeah, and
For
I think
real.
that's something that we talk through in a lot of these lives is that we are here. Your recruiter is a resource for you. Be open, transparent with us. We are never going to judge the conversation that we have with you. If anything, we want to support you and try to help problem solve. And if you don't need a problem solved and you just need an ear, to Teresa's point, we can also do that. I did get a question in the chat, but Zach, I'm going to go to you first. Anything? I saw you come off mute. Anything to add to what Teresa was saying there?
No, I just wanted to kind of echo that and maybe take that a step further in terms of that recruitment support that you do have. Me as a leader of a recruitment team, I take a lot of these calls and I love it. I think it's probably one of the biggest benefits of my role is getting to connect with clinicians that I'm not working with on the daily basis to try to help and resolve some of those issues that you may come across. I think that, you know, again, it's your personal life. We don't need to know all the details, but if there is something that is truly impacting your status to work a committed contract or whatever comes about, we know life happens. I mean, heck, life's happened to me as well, and travel nurses have been there to support me and my family in times of need. So, for that, I'm forever grateful and always want to give back as a result. I think we're all a huge community here, just trying to help each other. So, if there's ever anything that any of us can do, whether it be your recruiter, your recruitment's leader, whatever the case is, we all are here for your support and just wanted to echo that.
Such a great ad, Zach, and you're right. As a leader of recruiters and recruitment teams, we also you take those conversations and those calls, maybe even just one step further to help resolve any issues that there might be. So don't forget that it's not just your recruiter too. You have this whole group of people that is really dedicated to supporting you. Quick question from LinkedIn. It looks like we have, what advice can you give someone who has a lot of experience but has never traveled? So lots of experience but has never traveled. Teresa, I'm sure you've handled this before.
Yes, that's actually a really exciting thing because you're going to be able to go into hospitals that desperately need you. And I feel like every traveling assignment, you're going to learn something, but they're going to learn so much from you too. Since you're so experienced, it can be also hard if you've been at the same hospital permanent for a lot of years, but you're just feeling the itch and want to go travel and explore something new. That's amazing as well. So I think the best advice I can say is, when you're looking at positions, be open. There's, like I said, there's hospitals out there that need you. They might not be the biggest hospital, but maybe you're going to bring in your expertise to a hospital that doesn't have has never had a nurse that has the experience that you have. So um, even someone with 1 year of experience all the way up to 30 years of experience, you're gonna be adding to those hospitals. So be open to hearing what's available, what's out there, and you'll never know what you're going to experience and what you're going to get.
Which is
Preparation wise, I was going to say for preparing and stuff, talk about all your different experience with your recruiter too, because especially in the current market, your resume might show me that you have ICU experience, and you can say, oh, but actually I have PACU experience. I could do those too. I just forgot to put it on my resume. Or, I float to the PACU often. Could I do that? So make sure that since you have so much experience that you're also discussing that wide, breadth of knowledge that you have with your recruiter, so we know how best to look for positions for you.
perfect, Teresa. And one of our our current travelers is on frequently, Miss Ann King. She also talked about having that experience and being able to step into more of a leadership type role. So if that's something that's interesting to you, that maybe in your current hospital you haven't been able to do because of the politics of it, or somebody has been in that role that's really great and you really wouldn't want stepping out of it, you just haven't had the opportunity, going to some of these different locations and places, you'll be given that opportunity in a totally different way. So to Teresa's point, just the ability to grow even beyond your amazing experience is really exciting. I am going to talk a little bit about just we've talked about making sure you're having conversations with your recruiters, you're being upfront, honest, transparent with us. We've talked about what happens, when I say yes to that assignment, what happens on the facility side. Caitlin, I would love if you could just give me a little bit more there of why do we even have travel positions? When a client comes to us and says, we need travel nurses, why? What's going on?
Oh, I love this question, and so does my Master of Public Health degree. So that's one of the reasons why I love what I do so much. We live in a very big country, big world, right? Lots of places. And we are very fortunate to have some really amazing programs for nurses in different states, but not all states. Some areas of our country just don't have a lot of nurses that are hanging out looking for jobs. And I think about some of the clients that I have helped in my time here that might be in North Dakota. They don't necessarily have an outstanding nursing program that is producing a ton of nurses in that area. So our job to help treat the patient population of this country is to try and find those talented people and be able to bring them to the places that may not have as many talented people to kind of even it out, right? If you think about it, it makes sense. And that's why travelers are so important. You guys are who comes in when no one else can come in. That's why it's so exciting. That's also why it can be so important. But I think it's a very important job what travelers do. You do something that is so fluid and flexible to help and fill these gaps, and that's why we we treat everyone with that kind of level of importance. I really think that travelers are needed. They are not going away anytime soon. Like we said, life happens. Everyone's a person that is a nurse also. And those perm staff, stuff happens with them too. They have, babies. They need a maternity leave. They want to have their maternity leave, right? They deserve that. And you can come in and help give them that, right? In between, different classes or orientations, maybe there was a dip. Being able to help meet the demand of census at a hospital with talented nurses, no matter where you're from, is one of the greatest things about traveling.
Mhm.
And I really want and encourage all of you, especially if you are a first time person that is a seasoned nurse, but maybe hasn't dived into travel nursing and all of that as much. Look at the places where you want to go. Get excited. Treat yourself. You have been in the same place for a while. Maybe you want some adventure. You want to go see a place you've never seen before, work with people you've never worked with before. Make those connections, those friendships that could last a lifetime with people that you've never met before. Do you like skiing, snowboarding? Haven't gone in a while because you're a nurse and there's been a pandemic? Maybe look at some locations where there's some good powder out there. Do it for you.
Totally. I love that, Caitlin. And so much of what you talked about is exactly what we appreciate from our clinicians and all of our travel nurses being out there. There's a multitude of reasons that clients need you, that our facilities need you. I know Zach mentioned it a little bit earlier. We've all been impacted by travel nurses. I think I was saying yesterday in our prep call for this meeting, every single one of my nurses in my postpartum unit after I had my second child were all travelers. So if you wouldn't have been there, I would not have had a nurse or had been at that hospital. So it's so impactful, the work that you do. And we want to support you. But to support you, we really need to know how you're feeling, what's going on. Talk to us, ask us those questions. And I think what you're hearing a little bit from this panel too is if you have hesitation or if you're not really fully on board with taking a position or you feel like you've still got questions, make sure that you present those to your recruiter, whether they be here at AMN or any place else, because we're all really looking to support patient care at the end of the day. I know we're already over our 30 minutes. But I would love to just kind of wrap us up with going around and from my panel, just hearing with the group that we have, whether they're seasoned travelers or first-time travelers, diving into this new year, what advice would you give them as they're going into either maybe first-time travel, like I said, or taking multiple assignments? Zach, maybe I'll start with you. What advice do you have for our listeners here?
Sure. Yeah. So I would say my biggest advice is just completely open, transparent communication. Every step of the process, just really lay it out there. What are you looking for? Share what you're looking for in terms of that ideal travel location. What is it that you need financially to make it worthwhile? At the end of the day, none of us want to get you a job that's not going to help pay the bills. So if it's not going to work, let us know in advance and we'll try to find someone that's maybe suited to find a need for that kind of job because their finances are different. So whatever the case is, we have a surplus of jobs and we need the help of nurses such as you. So just making sure you're being transparent. If something comes up, let us know. We can try to vet that and get in front of it as soon as possible by notifying the likes of the Caitlin, and so she can notify her clients as to what's going on and if we need to source a backfill as a result or just postpone your start as a result. So whatever the case is, just please, I preface keeping open and honest communication, and I hope that your recruitment team will be returning that as well, as we all should be, and that's what we're here for. So just open, honest communication is number one advice.
Definitely. Have those questions ahead of time, open, honest communication. We will give you the same in return. Teresa, aside from call me, because I would love to be your recruiter, and do that, please. But what other advice would you give to our listeners here?
I think the biggest thing and biggest misnomer about recruiters is, we're just out there to find contracts and stuff like that, but we also love building relationships. We want to be there for you. We want to get to know you. I want my nurses and my clinicians to not need another recruiter, to trust me enough that when they have an assignment, they know I've worked hard, I've gotten them the best package possible, I have their best interest at heart, and that honestly in the end will make it easier for you because you're not having a billion things being thrown your way. But it's funny, we're having this conversation, I'm looking, Marnie, if you're out there, I still have this. I have those relationships. This is from one of my clinicians that went to Nantucket, and I keep it on my desk because it makes me happy. And she traveled with me for a really long time. So we like building those relationships. We're people first. And so build those relationships with your recruiters so that we can best be there for you and serve you and make sure that we're in turn serving the patients as well.
I love that, Teresa. And I love that you still have that little memento. I'm sure I could spend probably hours talking to Teresa and a lot of our other recruiters, probably you too, Zach, from your day. I know I have stories of just clinicians that have really stayed with us and are part of our journey too, and building those relationships and getting to be a part of your life. But remember, you're also part of ours. So I love that. Caitlin, wrap us up with any advice that you have.
I would just like to add that anyone that is new to travel, wanting to kind of understand more about the world, talk to your recruiter and mentally prepare yourself. Think about it almost like applying to college. You wouldn't spend all the time applying to a college that you have no plan of going to, right? Think about what you want, where it is. Tell your recruiter what you want and where it is. Your recruiter can't help you find what you want if we don't know what you're looking for. So tell us. And it's okay to be a little demanding. Like, I like it to be warm. I've never seen a tropical, fauna before, or a palm tree. Send me somewhere with a palm tree, please. We can do that. That's what we're here for. That's what we live for. That's why we exist. So tell us your parameters. Tell us what you want. We will find you something, and just be ready to accept that amazing offer when it comes your way. I can't wait to have all of you call Teresa and have me review all of your profiles and send them to our clients to get you those amazing offers. I will also say that even though I am more on the relationship building side with the client, I still love following our travelers. I follow a few of you on Instagram, a couple van lifers that like to travel to Hawaii every once in a while. I love to see the impact that it has, and that community is just so unique. So I hope to see you out there.
I love that, Caitlin. And I'm sure your client is happy to hear that we would love to get more people to go visit. Maybe not palm trees, but some pine trees or something out there. But yes, definitely let us know. Thank you all for joining. Hopefully all of our listeners got some great information. If I didn't answer your question, feel free to message me directly in LinkedIn. But thank you all for joining. For all of you listening, thank you so much for all that you do every day. You heard it from this panel. We appreciate you. We're so thankful for you, and call us. We want to talk to you and get you into a location that could really use you as a nurse to help support patient care. So thanks, everyone. Join us for our next AMN Live in February. It's coming up soon. Bye, all.